Hi, it's Daniel Morris and Matt Lewis again. We're both workers' compensation attorneys. We've talked about course and scope of employment and on-the-job injuries. Today we'd like to talk about reporting those injuries to your employer. You generally have 30 days to report your injury to your employer from the time that it occurred. We'd like to talk about two different types of injuries that you could have at work. The first is a specific event. That's something such as lifting a box and hurting your back at work, or you slipped and fell at work and suffered injuries. Those types of injuries need to be reported within 30 days from the date that that injury occurred. However, there are injuries that we refer to as occupational diseases or repetitive motion injuries. Those are injuries that don't occur at a specific moment, but occur over a period of time. Those types of injuries need to be reported within 30 days on the date that the person knew or should have known that they actually had an injury from work. Which brings into question, when did you know that you were injured at work versus when you just suffered symptoms? Many times someone feels sore or they're suffering the effects of an injury, but they don't know that they're injured. The 30 days begins to accrue on the date that the person knew or should have known that they actually have an on-the-job injury.
So who do you report the injury to? Well, you've got to report it to somebody in a management position. This could be your supervisor, it might be the foreman on the job, or it could be the HR manager. As long as they're in a management position, your report will count. Now what do you have to tell them? You got to tell them that you had an injury and that it happened at work. And so what you could tell them is, hey, I hurt my back working out in the yard today. And that will count as explaining the nature of your injury and that it was work related. Now when you do that, you might ask to fill out an accident report because that will verify what you're saying and it will preserve that report in the record for the duration of time. And if you can get them to give you a copy, then you'll have it for your file and nobody can ever question whether you turned it in on time. While you're at it, look for witnesses. See if you can get their names and contact numbers so that if you have to have them verify the facts down the road, they'll be available.
Just like any other type of injury type claim, when you have a workers' compensation claim, the more information you get and the better it's documented, the easier time you're going to have to be able to establish your case. As Matt said, try and get the witnesses, make sure that your employer knows that you were injured and how it occurred. With that, your claim is going to be a lot more likely to be accepted.